Hello everyone, it's Yvonne back to do your bonus read. We're going to use the Rider-Waite Tarot for this reading. I'll give them a really good shuffle today though, so I can sit and just ponder for a few minutes while I shuffle. It's still raining very heavy here in Australia. Our dams are all bursting. There's a concern that people are going to have to be moved, so big end to the drought, big ending. It's like you get several years of rain in a week. But anyway, it'll make everything nice and green. My garden's flourishing. Everything has gone into bloom because the sun's still very warm, of course, at this time of the year. So it's not cold. It's not as hot as it would normally be, I guess. All right, let's see what's happening with the bonus. And thank you so much for all you beautiful souls who wrote to me and said that you hoped I was safe. I'm really lucky where I am in Wollongong. I am. I'm on the outskirts of Sydney. They're not doing so well in Sydney. They had a metre of rain overnight the other night. I don't know how much they've had altogether, but that's a lot of rain to get overnight. The dams in Sydney are breaking their banks. So Sydney, probably some parts of Sydney are struggling. And my understanding is they are in other places too in New South Wales. So my heart goes out to all of the people who are struggling at the moment with this. I keep an eye on things, and I know that there has been some steps taken to help people out, but we all know that they can't get to everybody at once. So you souls who asked about me, thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm fine where I am. I'm totally not in trouble, but I do have people I know who watch my channel who would be struggling at the moment because they're in areas where the rain is creating, or the floods are creating, a problem. All right. So what we have here, jumping out of the deck, is a decision around love. What do you want in your life? What direction are you going in? Is love going to be offered? If love is offered, is it the love that I want? You're going through some sort of decision-making process here. I feel like there's a change or some sort of movement that's going to put you in a position where you're making decisions. Okay, so we have the card of Cancer coming through, which is the Chariot. The Chariot is a card in this particular deck, which is the traditional tarot, and I was drawn to use this deck, so it sort of makes you wonder sometimes. In some cards, the Chariot is in full swing. It has dragons, horses, other creatures pulling the Chariot. I think I've seen one with cats, but the Chariot is in full swing. In the Rider Tarot, the traditional meaning of the Chariot is that it is not moving at this time, because there is an energy that you're not getting your affairs in order, I guess. There's a stop, there's a pause here. It's like you want to move forward, but you haven't got things quite right where they need to be. So if you're looking at these black and white, yin and yang, energies that are opposing forces that need to work together. So when the Chariot comes out in the Rider-Waite deck, it's saying you're in a pause pattern, you're in a holding pattern, you're in some sort of energy of not being able to move at the moment because things aren't quite where they need to be. All right, a cycle needs to be closed out. So until this cycle's closed out, the universe can't move you forward. So you're either stuck, or you're transitioning, or you're in a holding pattern here. I have a feeling you're going to get a little bit of a clarification on the What's Cracking reading this morning, because you are in some sort of energy of waiting to close out a cycle. Now, what the universe is saying with the Ten of Wands is you've been carrying around a heavy weight for a very long time, and there is some reluctance to put this down. So either you're hanging on to it because it feels comfortable, you're hanging on to it because you know you have to close out a cycle, and perhaps you're really aware of this now, but avoiding some sort of energy of completion here. Are you avoiding something? Are you avoiding making a decision? Are you avoiding putting these wands down? That's what the universe is saying, because you're not moving forward here. You're in this stuck place. But I feel like you know this. I feel like you know this. Maybe for some of you here, you're understanding that you've maybe not manifesting what you want. Maybe your manifestation, maybe something's happening. Because I feel like here, this energy of I'm not getting what I want, but refusing to be able to move to the next phase. Why is that? Okay, it might be the other way around. Okay. So what Spirit is saying here, because you're not getting what you want, you're refusing to move forward. It's like, it's not happening for me, I'm giving up. It's not going in the right direction, so therefore I'll just stay where I am. That is the energy that's coming through here. Because we have the Magician here. And here we are holding back. This is self-denial. This is sort of self-sabotaging. It's like you've come to a place where you should be pushing on, or you should be doing more, or you should be completing something, but you're hanging back. You know that you need to move forward here. You can see it. You've got everything you need to move forward, but you're holding back on some. Oh, boy. So I bet there are other people who just did exactly that same thing. The universe is saying here that you're avoiding something. You're holding back on something. You're not seeing something for what it is. And you know the Tower comes in when the universe has shown you now so many ways, and there is something that has to be completed. The Tower is the completion of something. But I feel like you've gone backwards and forwards on it. Now, you could be in a relationship that you're hanging on to, even though that relationship is done. Even though it's done, it's done its purpose. You're hanging on to it still. Why are you hanging on? You know it's finished. You know it's complete, but still hanging on to it because you don't want to make that final decision. And the universe is saying we cannot move you forward while you're still carrying around this heavy burden. But you're still deliberating. You may be worried about completing it. It may feel sad to you, especially if it's been a relationship that's gone on for some time. It could be here that you don't want to do it because you're avoiding conflict. You might not want to leave a job because you feel somehow or another that it's too much trouble or too much effort or something to move in a new direction. And there we go with the Queen of Swords again. So it's really interesting because the Queen of Swords is a person who just thinks strategically. She doesn't think about the emotion. She leaves the emotion behind. She doesn't need the emotion. She is making a decision completely from her head. And this is what you're being asked to do. Whatever this is you're hanging on to because of the feelings, because of the emotions. Maybe you've always done it that way. Because something has to change here. There's some sort of cycle that's finishing out. Maybe you're doing it because you have codependent energy. Maybe you feel that if you close this out, it's going to be very difficult for the other person. You're not thinking about yourself. Whatever this is here, you know it's done. You know it's finished. You know there's nothing left for you where it is. But yet you're still hanging on to it rather than making that decision. And the Tower is coming. Because there is some sort of abundance sitting here for you in your future. There is something here that is here for you. And you know it. You know it. You know it's going to be better. You know it's better to go towards this. You know everything about this. I want to say promise, but it's not really a promise. It's sort of like you know it's there. You know it's there. Maybe this is a promise to yourself. But it's like you're avoiding the inevitable. Sorry. It's your destiny. You're avoiding what's supposed to happen. Because we have the Judgment card coming through. So there is some sort of rebirth here. There is some sort of energy that you need to start again. You need to complete this cycle. You need to start all over. But you need to do it differently this time. You need to take time out to think about how to do it too, by the looks of things. Maybe it's going to take some work. For some of you, this definitely could be a job. It could be just a situation that you've been putting off. It could be like, I don't know, you may have been hanging on to a friendship or a person for a really long time. You may have a difficult family that you've been hanging on to, and there is this promise of something better on the other side of it. But you've got to be prepared to let go of the old and rebirth new, or birth new with the Judgment card. I feel like here the energy of this card here is that you've just buried your head in the sand. That's what I want to say. It's this energy of, I just don't want to face this. It just is going to hurt too much. Maybe it's going to hurt the other person too much, whatever it is. But you've got a cycle. You've done this for a very long time. You may have constantly done this. Avoiding the pain, avoiding the conflict, whatever it is, it's got to go. You keep going round in circles here. And the universe is saying you need to take some time out and work out how to move forward. All right, so we have the Page of Swords with the Empress. Oh, Wheel of Fortune. You are holding yourself back here. You are really holding back your own energy. But the thing that makes it so strange is that you can see the answers. You can see the future. You know what's there for you. I don't know if you're avoiding a decision here, or whether you know you have to cut something away. But I can see this Page of Swords looking at this Ten of Pentacles with his sword held high. So he knows. He knows. You need to move into this Empress energy. There is something here about the Empress and Wheel of Fortune where you sort of like you can see something in the future, but you're denying yourself it. What are you denying yourself? Destiny? Five of Pentacles. All right, Five of Swords. This is where you're at. The Five of Swords energy is like that, moving away from something, even though you don't want to move away. You know it's better for you. You know you're moving in a better direction. It's that winning at all costs energy. But for some unknown reason, you feel more comfortable in your sadness and your misery. All right, I just want to put some more cards on this. All right, so we have you stuck here. It's like you're ready to go. You know you need to go. This is the energy of knowing that you need to go forward. This is the energy of trying to get things into balance so you can do that. The way you get things into balance is by putting down some sort of burden you've been carrying with you for a very long time. The universe is trying to help you create the life you want, something that is destined for you. But yet you're trying to get away with avoiding. Look at this guy looking back at this tower. You're trying to avoid something, but you can't avoid the tower. There is conflict here, going backwards and forwards between what you know and the sadness you feel, but you still keep going backwards and forwards on it. And the universe is saying it's time to take on the energy of the Queen of Swords. Think logically. Leave your emotions at the door and think from a logical perspective. Your emotions are not helping you in this situation. Maybe you're considering other people. Maybe you don't want to get hurt yourself, but you're avoiding something here. I don't know what it is where we think our emotions need to be involved in every decision we make when they don't. Sometimes you just have to put your emotions aside and think about what is best. What is best for me? All right. The Hierophant coming out. Oh, that Ten of Wands. All right, well, there's another sort of real dig in the ribs here. because the universe is saying you're not stable at the moment. This is something about holding on to traditional ideas and beliefs here. Maybe some of you are holding on to a marriage, something traditional, some way of thinking, some way of doing something. You're holding on to something here. Again, with that energy of like hanging on to something because you've got fear of hurting the other thing, not worrying about yourself. So it's like you're putting yourself in this sacrificial position here. You're sacrificing yourself because of something else that's happening here. But you have to put these wands down because the universe is pulling you in a new direction here. And interestingly enough, we have the King of Swords coming through here. So I feel like for many of you here, this is about making some sort of decision to take yourself in a new direction. But a lot of you fighting the end of a cycle. People saying to me, how do I close out this cycle? How do I do it? You must be starting to see it now because it's showing me that you know what the answer is here. Something you need to let go of. It may be a bad habit that you're doing. It may be a way of seeing the world that doesn't serve you anymore. But there is something here that no longer serves you. I have the card of Her Grace coming through. Okay, that's why you've got the Empress here. Look at this. The Goddess is awakening within your life. It may be within your own body, within a sensual deepening of a relationship with your own body or with the body of another, through expanding creativity, a sudden burst of feeling that you cannot logically explain, a desire to move, to dance, to express yourself, to sing or write music, to draw, to play in nature, to swim and to collect shells and lie on your back in the moonlight gazing at the stars. Let her reach you. She is calling to you from ancient times, calling to you to allow her more deeply into your life. Celebrate the divine feminine. She is coming to life for you. Whether man or woman, your life is about to be touched by her magic, never to be the same again. This oracle brings you a message. There is a woman who brings divine blessings in your life who's trying to connect with you more deeply. The blessing may be one that is obvious or one that is hidden in a challenge. The woman may be your own body if you are female, or your own inner feminine if you are male. It may be spiritual or physical being, the Great Mother, your lover, your sister, or your dearest friend. It may be a woman as yet unknown to you, but who holds a soul contract with you, an agreement predestined to awaken you. The empowerment will come to you not by rejecting what is offered by this feminine presence, but by embracing it and finding your truth through it. This is exciting because it means you are growing. You are entering into the feminine temples of wisdom and finding a home there. The poem. I was born long before our time, and yet my time with you is something new, for you awaken in me a spirit that was longing for release and waiting for your touch. I thought I was safe to stay inside the boundaries and walls I carried with me. You touched all of me, and we walked together outside the lines. Have a wonderful day.